All right, welcome back to the Tournament of Champions. We're going to get right into this in just a moment. Yeah. Okay, now, let's see where we are here. We saw in our last fight, Muhammad Ali in a unanimous decision over Evander Holyfield, which now brings us to the Lennox Lewis Rocky Marciano fight. Woo, man. Well, how do you see this one playing out? We have quite the disparity in size. You're talking about, certainly talking about the yin yang of eras and evolution of size in athletes. But one thing you can never count out is the spirit and determination of a person. Those are the X factors, right? So I'm taking all of that into account as well. All right, so here we go. Rocky Marciano. Let's see here. He competed from 1947 to 1955, held the title from 1952 to 1956, defended that title 6 times. Known for his relentless stamina and punching power in both hands and with a great chin. Compiled a record of 49-0. Everybody knows he retired as the only undefeated heavyweight champion ever. Tail of the tape. This is always my favorite, the tail of the tape. Rocky's at 5'10", 188 pounds in his prime with a 68-inch reach, the shortest reach of any heavyweight champion in history. And he has a daunting task of going up against Lennox Lewis, who is a giant. And now by comparison, getting these two in the ring, well, it's got to look a lot like Lewis and Tyson, who were, Tyson's about that same height and so forth. But it's quite a disparity between the two. Here's Lennox. He's 3-time world champion. He competed from 1989 to 2003, became champion in 1992. His strengths, excellent. He's that boxer-puncher combo guy, right? So some guys who are primarily boxers, like your Alis and so forth, and can eventually knock you out, accumulation of punches, certainly well-timed punches, but not one-punch knockout artists. And you got your bombers like the Foreman, Tyson, Marciano. Like these guys can hit you one time and it's lights out. Frazier, he could be like that as well. Now, Lennox is that combination of boxer and puncher. And he can take you out. He can bomb you. He's a very, very dangerous man. And he had a record of 41 2 losses, 1 draw. But here's the thing about Lennox as well. He can be knocked out. He was knocked out by Hasim Rahman and Oliver McCall. And these guys were able to catch him. And that's, again, not to say that he has a glass jaw or anything like that, but, as I have said, anyone can be knocked out, okay? But these guys have been able to catch him, and he can be as big as he is. It doesn't matter how big you are, you can be knocked out. Tail of the tape. He is 6 feet 5 inches tall, 245 pounds, with an 84-inch reach. 84 inches versus 68-inch reaches. Okay, so we got a bit of a interesting dilemma for Marciano, but Marciano is a smart fighter too, because here's how I see this one playing out. Round 1, Lennox is going to utilize that jab. Now, mind you, these guys have seen each other, never fought each other, okay? and everyone's in their prime. And here comes Lennox. Marciano has the same obstacle he has in any fight he's ever been in. With those short arms, he has to get inside. One of the things Marciano did defensively that was very, very good was, and again, it was by necessity, he had to crouch down. So Lennox is going to be punching down all the time. Even if Marciano's standing straight up, he's still got to punch down. But Marciano's going to get down and get under those long arms, and he's not going to headhunt with Lewis because he can't. So he's going to go for that body, and he does. He comes in and he bores in, slipping that jab, trying to stay away from, knowing he has to stay away from that right hand of Lennox. Lennox knowing that's the punch he needs to land. Marciano, he would love to land that Suzy Q, that big right hand of his. Second and third rounds, we have that cat and mouse. One trying to bore in, the other trying to keep him off. And Marciano slips, gets inside, and goes to the body. Lennox ties him up, having felt his power, but negates a lot of that by pushing him off and keeping him at arm's length. He wants that fight to stay in the center of the ring. Marciano wants to get Lewis across against the ropes. And one of the things that Marciano was able to do quite effectively, obviously with a 49-0 record, he was able to get his opponent to bend down into him, into his wheelhouse. And when he would smack you in the body, you're not so readily wanting to extend your arms for any purpose. So you start developing T-Rex arms, and you're keeping them in here so you can keep that body protected and try to land some shots. But Lennox is a very, very big man who's able to absorb a lot of those good shots and land that big right hand, which he does into the fifth and sixth rounds. The stamina of Rocky, he just keeps coming and keeps coming. Lennox knows he has to keep moving and either tie Marciano up or push him off and keep him away from him. Lennox is missing a lot because Marciano is so down low, and it seems even that he's even further. He's even closer to the ground because Lennox is so tall that Lennox is missing a lot of shots throwing down. Lennox reaches down to hit Marciano in the seventh and misses, and Marciano throws that looping right hand, that Suzy Q, and connects with Lennox, which shakes him to his core and backs him up and kind of wakes him up too. Lennox, being a big man, he's been hit by big men, and it's not a shock to his system that someone as small, 188 pounds, could hit that hard, because Marciano could hit, but let's not be ridiculous. He couldn't hit any harder, and is not going to be able to hit any harder than even, say, Joe Frazier, or certainly Shavers, Lyle, Razor Ruddock could really hit Mike Weaver. I mean, those guys could really, really hit you. Foreman? I mean, okay, so it's not a shock to Lennox Lewis to be hit that hard. And he's now, it's like, okay, I've got to really go to work here, because this guy, Marciano, he's not slowing down. So Lennox stays on the outside and sticks with boxing and is able to beat Marciano, unanimous decision, outpointing the man. He never really hurt Marciano, but he was able to stop Marciano from going forward because he hit him hard enough to stop him dead in his tracks. And so Marciano had to really be cautious about coming in and how he came in. But in coming in, he was going to get hit, and he does. So Lennox Lewis just too big. too much disparity and reach, and able to negate the things that made Marciano so effective. It's just a good big man beats a good little man every time. All right, so we're going to move on with this tournament, and we'll be back with the next fight. Remember to like and subscribe. And as always, I thank you for joining in on my channel. Mark my words. My name is Mark Shepard, and I'll see you in the next fight. Bye.